Let us take a metaphor of water and let water be the teacher today. So we've already done the exercise and begin to be you. Water represents your mind, your emotions. When the container is not still, the water within it moves. How do you still the container? If you think about the body being the container and the mind being water, are they correlated? As an example, if the water within the container itself had its own life energy, had its own tides, what would happen? Because of the movement of the water, the container also would start moving. When you recognize that your mind is not feeling stable, you cannot directly cause your mind to still. You have to use the body and the breath to bring it to that moment of stillness and stability. We've discussed this in Begin to Be You. Those of you who are doing this with Anashri again, I'm unsure whether you've reached that chapter yet, but when you do, we request all of you who are participating with the reading to do the exercise, to actually do it as recommended in the book, so that you can see and experience it for yourself, the insights that come from it. Oftentimes, we're trying to cause the mind to calm down, almost as if it could be a magic word, right? Imagine a child coming in full of energy, and all you want to do is give one command, and you want to expect that child to change their behavior or their thinking process. Your mind is your own child. So you have to be with your mind like you would ideally, the most ideal way, be with your child. If you don't do that with your own mind, then it reflects in all of the relationships. Because as we tie this in to the inner child, we're all children to a great extent. Our minds are not emotionally mature as we would like for it to be. So anytime you feel you're not stable and calm, bring yourself back to the breath. Now, two things you can do. One is the box breathing, which is inhale for 1 or 2 counts, pause for 2 counts, exhale for 2 counts, pause for 2 counts, and you do the box breathing. You do this till you actually feel calmness. Now, any form of controlled breathing should not be practiced by those with high BP and those who are pregnant. As a rule, do not control your breath if you have high BP or you are pregnant. Do not recommend this kind of controlled breathing to anyone else either, because you don't know their medical background. When you bring your awareness to your breath, you are calming yourself physiologically and psychologically. If your breath is not enough, then you use the body along with it. And how do we do this? Repeating myself. You walk as slowly and gently as is possible. So you inhale 2 breaths, 2 steps. You pause 2 steps, exhale 2 steps, pause 2 steps, and you make that walking into a walking meditation. Why do we move our body? Because just breathing is not calming the mind down. You cannot force patience or faith or calmness. You have to embody it. One of you has asked how to embody our experiences. So, majority of humans live in their mind. They do not live in their body. So, breathing and moving mindfully, consciously, and as Thich Nhat Hanh says, walk as if you're kissing Mother Earth. So when you practice this especially in times where you're feeling anxious or concerned or worried. You're first helping your nervous system to regulate. Any dysregulated nervous system is like a magnet that attracts more and more situations that cause further dysregulation. Children are, and pets, animals, are the most amazing mirrors. If we have not dealt with something within, they will be the first ones to show it to us. And if not the children and the pets, our relationships are a great mirror to show where we stand. If you can bring yourself to that degree of stillness within, where the water within the container and the container itself are feeling steady and still, all of the other things you have mentioned or requested will be taken care of. Because then you have access to the wisdom within you, to the source within you. When we practice any form of spiritual cleansing or ascension tools, it is stirring the water within us. What that means is any impurities become very visible. So if you see these impurities within yourself or those around you or in your relationships, it's not because of someone outside of you. Every person in our life is a mirror. It becomes hard when we have difficult relationships, right? Because you almost want to. It becomes easier to blame another person. But they are mirroring us. So what within us can be changed? Coming back to that circle of control, which is yourself. Can you come to such a state of stillness, embodiment, peace within that absolutely nothing outside of you, good or bad, stirs you? If there are impurities within and there's a mirror kept, I get to see those impurities in someone else. But actually, where is it? If that person is a reflection of me, where is it? It's within me. So can I then try to say, how do I address this impurity? Why are we calling it impurity? From the metaphor of water right now, not from a religious association to purity, impurity, sin, and yeah, we're not going down that track. We're talking about impurity from a space of anything that takes you away from inner peace, inner calmness, inner joy. If you can keep bringing yourself back to that inner state within you, your breath becomes the greatest tool. Because when you breathe carefully, even in when the argument peaks, and usually when an argument peaks, someone else is doing the talking or the reacting or the having an explosion. So when they are doing that, while you're being witness to someone else's emotion, can you practice quietly, discreetly, the box breathing? Not because you want to deny what the situation is asking of you, but because you want to make sure that you are grounded and you are, as they say, the eye of the hurricane. Everything around you is swirling, everyone around you is at the peak of their emotions, and they're inviting you to join into that drama. They're asking you, come yell at me, come raise your voice, come lose your center. Yeah. So when you practice discreetly box breathing throughout the day at normal times, it comes most naturally even during challenging times. If you can practice every day as many times as possible, connecting with your breath and grounding your body, even during an emotionally challenging moment, you will be able to connect with your breath and your body a little more easily, and it will have a deeper impact on how you are addressing the situation in that moment. When we assume that someone else is saying something, it is coming from a space of fear or judgment. You're trying to be anyone who assumes is on guard. It's coming from the animal brain in our system. We are in that fight or flight mode. We are very much on guard. And that is why we are assuming, we are judging very, very strongly. Simple things like facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, someone saying something, not saying something. We are constantly judging, and this comes from hypervigilance. Hypervigilance comes from past traumatic experiences where we have had to use our readiness so that things don't escalate beyond a certain point within relationships. So that hypervigilance has kept you safe and has helped you survive until this moment. But do you need to be hyper vigilant all the time? And majority of you unfortunately are. That is why you'll find life exhausting. That is why even though you'll know you'll deserve better or you'll know you can do more, you don't have enough energy because all of the energy is going in that hyper vigilance. You'll need to have better mental practices. Those of you who have not done CBT, we are meeting 2 Sundays from now for the workshop. So be sure it's a prerequisite to continue on this path, doing the CBT. So if you have not done it last time, you'll need to come back and do it 2 Sundays from now. If you can, connect with your breath right now. Close your eyes. And practice 5 box breaths. Let us do 2 counts per step. 2 inhale, 2 pause, 2 exhale, 2 pause. When you're done, you can gently open your eyes. This is a homework you need to continue to practice every day, as many times as is possible. Come back to your box breathing. Now, for those of you who are overthinkers, you don't need to show your hands. You already know who you are, right? So all of you who are overthinkers, you're spending too much time in your head. So this practice, the more you do it, the better it is for you. Those of you who have the Yoga Nidra recording, if you observe, you can practice that as well. If you practice Yoga Nidra, if you practice box breathing or any other form of breathing exercise, it supports you to use your mind more efficiently. How does that work? Because the breath and the mind are completely attached. Now put your hand on your belly, and as you continue to listen to the rest of this discourse, you're going to also simultaneously inhale into your belly first and exhale, contract your belly. Inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, contract your belly. Now, all of you have to learn to multitask. So far, you have either done your spiritual practice or been in the world. Now you get to be in the world while doing your spiritual practice. So you are sitting in a board meeting. Inhale, exhale, continue to listen. You have your scrum meeting, do the same. You have to do your dishes or you have to cook, you continue to breathe. You have to correct your child's homework, you continue to breathe. Observe how many times in the day you are not breathing fully. If you are not breathing, what is the point of meditating? You're meditating so that you can have a better quality of life. Isn't better quality of life better breathing? So through the day, you have to learn to breathe more and more consciously. Now, one question was, how do we meet Babaji physically? What do we do? My question is, why do you need that? Why do you need to have someone come physically? Even if he did, you will not recognize him. That is what you need to work on, not whether he is coming. You need to improve your perception. I have said this in the earlier calls also. Shiva himself has come. Physically also you will not recognize. Jesus comes physically, you will not recognize him because you'll have not sensitivized or refined your sensitivities enough to recognize the great ascended masters of gods in body. So improve your perception. Can you do that? Improve your perception. How do you improve your perception? What are the things you can do? Be grounded in your body, mind, outside of the chatter that constantly goes on. Overcome your expectations. Because when Shiva or Babaji come, or when Jesus comes, or when Mother Mary comes, you all have an image of what they should look like. You all want them to look exactly like the photographs you have seen of them. None of you will recognize the essence of their presence. So you have to learn to really refine your sensitivities. And that is not the goal. To be with them physically is not the goal. The goal is to be with them in our consciousness all the time, not just that one time. And if that one time happens, great physically. But that is not the goal. Am I clear? What are the other lessons you can learn from water? To be in the flow. What else is in the flow? Your breath. When your breath flows easily, fully, The mind, which is the water, also flows. It is not stagnant and ruminating about the same topic again and again and again. When your breath flows, the water, which is your mind, flows. Otherwise, it becomes moss ridden, as beautiful as mosses. We're talking metaphorically. Then, when an obstacle comes, what does water do? When the river has to flow towards the ocean, it doesn't matter. When it has decided I'm going towards the ocean, when there's enough charge in the river, it will pass through, over, under, from the side of these big boulders. Right? Have you set your goal to be one with the ocean? Yes. That is why you are here. So go forward with that charge of the river, that no matter what, this is me. I am moving forward. The river can carve through rocks with perseverance, another request that had come. You persevere. Faith is not a concept that can be theoretically lived. It has to be actively lived. Faith is only active. So the river can't stay and say, I can see the ocean 10 kilometers away. I can feel it. I know it's there. And I have faith that someday I will get to it. Is that faith enough? It has to also allow itself to flow towards the ocean. Faith has to come and it has to be met with action. Especially when you cannot see the ocean. It has to move in that direction. It's very intuitive. Nobody is telling the river, you need to turn here and you need to go there. The river is flowing intuitively. You have to become that river. And if you feel stagnant inside, you have to ask your own intuition, what can I do to flow once again? And you might hear you're holding your breath, you're not breathing. Why don't you breathe for the next 10 seconds? And then you breathe. And when you start breathing, you start recognizing, yes, maybe this is the direction I can take. And then life is life, metaphorically speaking again. Our rivers run dry, we run dry, right? And we seem to not exist anymore. Because you feel like you're so lost. You don't know who you are, where you are, what is happening. So what would a river do in that moment? The river is trying to be the river in that moment, right? The river water has evaporated. What has that river water become when it's evaporated by the hot sun? It's become something else. It's taken another form. And maybe, just maybe, that little drop that was in the river has gone up to the cloud, has gone back up to the mountain, and has to make the entire journey all the way back. Right? But you do that. You do that knowing that I am the cloud now. I can see. As the cloud, I can see what I couldn't see as a river. On this mountaintop, I can see which I could not in the valley. As the waterfall, I can drop with a force that I couldn't when I was a stream. Every stage has something to offer, something very unique. So identify when you feel lost, what is that unique perspective that you require to feel grateful again. Eternity is sold to us in a very superficial way, right? We're all expecting to be eternal by freezing time. And eternity is the opposite of that. It is beyond time. When we try to freeze our body, our looks, our emotion, our life into a time capsule, we are holding our breath again. We are not flowing again. Right? We all want our babies to stay babies so that we can pick them up and hold them and hug them and kiss them. Right? We don't want them to grow up and become their own people, because it's a different kind of parenting experience when you're parenting a slightly older toddler or a teenager or an adult child. But every phase has its unique gift that it is bringing to you. The moment you try at any point in life, hold and grab and keep it, try to control it and keep it, the quicker the sand and the water leaves your hand. So flow. Once again, how do you flow? Check with yourself. Oh my gosh, everything is tight inside of me. I'm not even breathing. My breath has become so shallow. Can I breathe deeper? Can I relax my body? Can I make space in my body and my mind for the next thought to come in, for the next solution to come in, for the next experience to come in? So, in your life right now, ask yourself, what are you holding on to so tightly, whether within this lifetime or some past life experience that you have, where you're just fixated and obsessed with the concept that you're holding on to it so tight? It could be an expectation you have from yourself or your life or your relationships. Can you let go that expectation and allow for life to surprise you in beautiful ways, way better than you had asked or imagined? What does life look like for you if you allow yourself to flow in every moment? What does flow look like? You're being present to what life is offering you in that very second. No expectations, no desires, no preconceived thoughts. I want to clarify that when we speak in our context of becoming more of yourself or begin to be you, we're not talking about more of your ego self. We're not talking about more of me, my, mine, which is seeming like that's what is happening. You are using spirituality to strengthen your ego in some ways. For some of you, not everyone. If your insecurity causes you to think only about yourself, you are just at a very, very top level, just touching the tip of the iceberg of what your whole greater self is, which is your spiritual expansion. Write down in a day whether or not 60% is about you, yours. It could be you, which is your thoughts, your desires, your fears, your expectations, or your loved ones, your colleagues, your neighbors. If 60% or more is that, you are at the tip of the iceberg, which is you're still at the ego level. You have not gone deep into the depths of oneness with spirituality of your greater self is asking you to come experience, inviting you to experience. Now, obviously, when we have tons of things to do and bills to pay, is it easy to not think of yourself and your loved ones? It isn't. Is it necessary to quit all of this and only then be able to experience the greater self? If it is not the only way, then why aren't you all able to move beyond 60%? What is stopping you? Observe your habits, observe your mental habits. You're thinking of yourself and how to improve yourself, heal your loved ones. What is the greater goal for you all to be here? How many of you are part of a community service? A show of hands. How many of you are anchoring change so that it ripples into your community, even if you don't actively go? Show of hands. All of you should put up your hands for this. Why didn't you put up your hands? Because again, we conceived, right? Your notion is that I can do seva only by going out into the world and feeding the needy. You are not thinking that if today I stand up for myself and say something, maybe my great, great, great grandmother never had the right to say, but I've said it today, I have changed the world by one sentence. You are separating seva in your mind. Why? Why can't your very life, your every breath become seva for this world? Can we attempt to do that more consciously starting today? When we work on ourselves and we are able to anchor, ground, embody all of that, these theories that we read or speak of and discuss, we are allowing that change to come naturally. So write down for yourself what are the privileges you have that your great grandparent did not have. Write it down. What are the privileges and freedom that you have that your great grandparent did not have? In reality, we don't even need to go back that much. If we just say my parent, and there will be a long list. No? Isn't it? But to bring even more contrast for you to see it more clearly, we are saying great grandparent. Most of you, at least one grandparent on one of the sides, you may have heard stories of, even if you haven't met them. So write with that reference if you can't go to the great grandparent. Yes, thank you. What happens to water when you drop a few drops of ink in it? It becomes colored. When you drop the essence of rose in it, it becomes fragrant. Everything that you interact with influences your mind. Who you speak to, what you consume as media influences the water, which is your mind. If you have only one channel of source, which is, suppose, bright blue ink, the more you consume it, the more ink, less water. More that source, less you. So whatever you do, be very mindful of what you are consuming and who you are interacting with, because that influences how you live your life and how you move towards the source, back to the source. Not as in time, but in experience. The journey of the river to the ocean is not इस जन्म में अगले जन्म में ऐसा नहीं, अभी हो सकता है, right? It is not a matter of time, it is a matter of experience. अभी अगर oneness है, what does that oneness feel like? Nothing. But we are so used to filling our heads with all kinds of everything and definitions and visuals and messages and signs and endless list of things. We can't imagine how simple that nothingness is. It's so simple. But because, again, the play, right? The play is that we've been made into complex, beautiful beings. And because we've been made into complex, beautiful beings, we enjoy complicating things. We can't imagine that life can be super simple. God can be super simple. Source can be super simple. So we complicate our lives further and further to more and more healing, more and more correction, more and more of everything. Those of you who are coming for the intensive advanced program, we're going to go more and more into nothingness to savor what is naturally our birthright, right here, right now, not needing to wait for some future moment. If you were to meet a person who has been hungry 4, 5 days, famished, you give them a pot of rice, they will be most grateful. You give them 2 rotis, they will be most grateful. Why? The bhook, the hunger is so strong, so strong. But you say you wait another 3 hours, I will cook you a 7 course meal. Very delicious stuff I will make for you. Where is the need and what is being offered? So spirituality has also become like that, right? अगर भूख strong नहीं है, if it is not that deep and desperate, not from an unhealthy space, but from a one-pointed space, then you will look for peripheral things. How many shishyas does that guru have? How many chamatkars has that guru done? All kinds of things, right? But if you're very clear, one pointed in your request, then it will be offered quickly, simply, swiftly. But when we want the drama, we want the glory, then it will take very long for it to manifest. You want something complicated, you want something massive, earth shattering miracle. It can't be something simple. So, what is the message here? Simplify your mind and your life and your expectations. Simplify what you want, even from God. If you look for drama, you will find more drama. If you say, to the source within me, all I want to do is feel your essence through this day. Why would you not feel the essence through the day? But you're not asking for that. You are asking for things. Write down for yourself, how can I simplify my experience of God in my body? Be with the essence that is not a vision, that is not an expectation. Be with your breath. God, Guru, breath. No separation. Your breath is your Guru, your breath is God. There is no separation, there is no distinction. That is chawal and roti. But people don't want chawal and roti, they want 7 course meals. Because if I tell you God Guru is in you right now, breathing through you, that is not enough for the complex mind that wants complicated things. So if you want to experience God and Guru, be with your breath. Just your breath, not your thought, your breath. And if the thought comes in the way of your breath, you have the willpower to bring yourself back and say, I will only be with my breath, not my thoughts, not my visions and expectations. Any trouble you have in life, instead of going to someone, go to your breath. You can't breathe because you're crying. Wait till the breath comes back. Cry, it's okay, release. But come back to your breath. Be with your breath till you find within you the answer of what I need to do next. It's not easy to do that, but your breath is always with you. Your breath and your mind, water being the mind. If you cannot do anything else, take a glass of water, a bowl of water, and just breathe into that water. Just breathe and then offer it to a pot or a plant. If the thoughts are very, very negative, as you breathe, looking at that water, and sometimes thoughts do get very negative, flush it down the drain. You're using water as an element, as a healing element. Don't use too much water because we don't want to waste water. And most of the time, you will come to this exercises when your thoughts are negative. So it will very rarely go to the plants and mostly go into the toilet. So you don't want to use too much water. You're using it as an element which you can focus your attention on. If you got to start your life from scratch, absolutely plain canvas, how many of you would be grateful? Show of hands. Okay. Bring gratitude for those of you who are not feeling ready, because that is what is going to happen in the coming months. We're going to get an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. Whatever you have felt you are, and all those definitions, मैं ये हूँ, वो हूँ, ये कर सकती हूँ, वो कर सकती हूँ, ये करना है, चाहना है, all of that, erase, start from scratch. So, if you get to start from scratch, shouldn't you be thinking of the absolute most amazing possibilities? And now, even if you do think of the most amazing possibilities, who is the one thinking? Your limited self, right? Right? But the possibilities are infinite. So our prayer is going to be, help me keep myself out of the way and allow your divine miracles to shine through. This is a prayer by Doreen Butcher. Help me keep myself out of the way and allow your divine miracles to shine through in my every breath, thought, word, and action. Big shift coming, very big shift. Whatever you try to hold on to tighter, like I said earlier, the more you will struggle or suffer. Don't try to hold on, be in the flow. By flow, I do not mean irresponsible. I mean be present to every version of you that is about to manifest for you. When I say things about the future, I always get asked, is it going to be good or bad? Is the new version of me going to be good or bad? This is again the old self asking the question that wants to put everything in a black and white box. If you truly feel life is divine and we are being driven by a very intelligent source, then we lean into that intelligence, we lean into that grace and say, no matter what, whatever comes, we're being supported. Whatever version of me manifests, it is happening via a divine order. Because I'm keeping my limited self out of the way now. So if a divine miracle has to shine through, isn't a divine miracle going to be the best version of whatever situation is going to come forth? Be open for miracles. But when miracles happen, they are pushing you to move beyond your own limitations of what you believe life to be. During my sadhana, there were times when I could see through walls. It wasn't because I could see through walls, it was because I was shown through. Everything would be transparent. There was no limitation of time and space. Everything happened simultaneously. To have that degree of clarity of experience, there cannot be any self in it. But God or that cosmic consciousness showed all of that or revealed all of that. Revealed that the bed I was sitting on was not really solid and my hand could go right through the bed. Just like you can walk through doors or walls. It wasn't something I did. It was something that was shown. As far-fetched as that is, in daily life, how does that translate to miracles of the moment? What is a miracle right now? I may not be able to walk through walls, but maybe disagreements resolve even before they begin. Maybe opportunities come without me having to run or chase after them. Whatever miracles are, they come on their own. We don't chase after miracles. They're like butterflies. You don't chase after them. You have to become still so that they can come to you. So, can we become still in our body and mind? Can we bring silence into our mind? Can we practice breathing? That is all for today. Let's take a moment to send out 3 ohms into the world. Let us join our palms in prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet, loka samastha sukhinah bhavantu. Love to all, peace to all, joy to all. So be it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.